Hello folks, my name is Ravi Jagannathan. I do virtualization and secure cloud, and I'm very passionate about developing OpenStack applications. So in that context, me being passionate about developing OpenStack applications, I have been trying to work with various different releases of OpenStack. In this summit, I walked around the booths, and then I had talked to various people, and I've been talking to people about, is OpenStack is ready for prime time? Is it reliable? Amazingly, a lot of people see that it got some ways to go, things like that. So I just want to go over a few points and then see present what I gathered so far. The thing is, why is OpenStack viewed as unreliable? Whether it is reliable or not, that's the story. But why is it viewed as unreliable? It's an interesting thing. Somebody told me because it is unreliable, because we cannot take it and then use it for really realistic, rock solid deployments. There are various reasons, and they actually spot out those reasons. However, this point is still reverberating from between vendors and primarily the customers. It's just going round and round and round. So it is worth spending a few times. Me being passionate about OpenStack is just kind of hard, and then to here it's unreliable. The initial first instinct is it works. It works on my desktop, so it has to work everywhere, right? And it's just that's basically what the initial reaction is. Majority of the people downstairs in the booth, they will tell you, if you talk to you privately, oh yeah, I've got this problem. I can't make this work. I'm trying to make this work in my deployment in this scenario, and I've got ABC problems, and it just goes on and on and on. And the another thing is, it's just their rationale why they think it is unreliable is different. Beyond that, the common thread is it is viewed as unreliable. And I have talked to more than two handful of folks downstairs. So why is it viewed as unreliable? People tell me, even these are the people who actually know various OpenStack components, and they're saying, there are too many configuration parameters. I change one, and I hope everything works. OpenStack, the website, it actually documents everything. And the fact is, how much it takes one to go through those things and then figure out the right thing they have to set it to is a chore by itself. I wish there's a machine learning program there fixing those things for you, right? We need an AI right here, really bad. And there are too many components, and they're inventing new ones when we should be stabilizing the existing ones. But it's getting stable, but the thing is that this is another common thing that I've been hearing. And then another thing that somebody pointed out was, well, these developers are adding code and stuff like that, but do they test only their component, or they test their component, whatever they have added, in relation to other components? So they have a setup for realistic deployment or a usage, so they test whatever they check in, whatever they test, in that context. So another question that came out. The one thing, I may be naive, I may be ignorant about this one. Is there an official stressed test suite for OpenStack that one can run after, when we get closer to release? Like POSIX has a NIST test suite, and a lot of things have a test suite that one can run. It'll be good to have an official one that multiple people can run and then say, yeah, my changes are good enough to go. So is there one like that? I'm asking the question instead of saying yes or no, because there are too many components. I don't want to be wrong in saying yes or no. So it's worth looking into. So Debian is in one of the distros which are Linux distro. It's kind of always behind, but one thing about Debian is that it's all do it yourself, and you get everything from the source. So is there anything like that, like a developer oriented distro that is stable enough for people to check and deploy those kind of things? So there are some commercial distros, but is there any usable OpenStack distro that people can deal with, right? The perception of OpenStack being unreliable, to some extent, whether it is really unreliable or not, it's true, because it is just kind of resonating from various parties. So from what I gather, it looks like there's a responsibility on multiple people. Everybody share a piece of responsibility for why it is being viewed as unreliable. Mind you, I write code, and I basically develop applications, and it seemed like I'm seemingly talking about this soft topic, like an distant analyst or observer. But I'm deep in it. But I see everybody sharing a bit of responsibilities. So OpenStack users themselves have to some extent have to share this blame, because if you look at the use cases for which OpenStack is being used, it's very wide, and it is very heterogeneous use cases. So some of the the way the OpenStack is architected and then it is actually being used, it doesn't fit in all use cases. And I myself have developed cloud software from scratch, written in C and kind of thing, and it works like a champ, and it scales pretty big. Whereas people expect that kind of a reliability, but they cannot get it for various reasons. So OpenStack community, they could do a better job also by actually making these components stable by having a test suite and then testing their code in relation to other code. And then I will give some data point. It's not my data point. I heard it from somebody else, so it's a second-hand information. But it seemed to be that person seemed to be a pretty reliable person, which I will share with you guys. We are at a point stabilizing existing components is a higher priority. For example, people are noticing a component like Nova. In general, OpenStack components are very chatty. They send too many messages, too many synchronizations, and is there a way to cut down? So people are looking into how to make components efficient, which will contribute it being reliable. And such questions are being asked now. That's the good aspect of it. So we need to have a test suite framework so people can add their test cases as they come up with the new components or existing components, or when they change the code. Somebody told me OpenStack components are suffering from this syndrome of designed by a committee, right? It has everything that everybody would want, but somehow it lands up being something that nobody wants to use, or is not readily usable for people. So it's another thing. This is a specific data somebody shared with me. They apparently made some very quantitative measurements with Nova. In trying to spin a VM, Nova makes like 160 API calls. Mind you, this is not my data. I got that permission to use it. And this is the punchline. It's not that Nova makes 160 calls. Only 32 of those calls are unique. That means it makes repeat calls of the same API in trying to get something done. So it tells you how chattery it is, how wasteful it is, so how it could be optimized. And I'm just starting with Nova, which is supposed to be a rock solid component, right? And then you can imagine about other components. I mean, Neutron is like so many other parameters and plugins. It's got its own world there. I'm just trying to consolidate many people's view here in the next one. In general, the view is that OpenStack software is still maturing. If you go talk to real hardcore IT guys or CIOs or chief security officers. I mean, there's like nobody has really looked into OpenStack from the security perspective, even though OpenStack has made, in all good honesty, they have a web link and it does talk about development security, but it doesn't talk about deployment security. I covered that in the other talk that I gave yesterday. So people are and will be trying to use OpenStack for heterogeneous use cases, and which is to be expected, because people from varied use cases and industries are coming here and trying to put their requirement is also covered in the project, and that's going on. Previously, when people built cloud infrastructure software like myself, it was built for a specific purpose in a conventional language like a C or C++ or Java or Go. What happens is they are done by small groups, requirements are well known, and everything is in place, so you actually get it done in a very reliable manner. The number of lines of code are very limited, and it may be large, however it is contained and it is controlled by a team, and there is a specific QA team, there is a specific QA process. It's a well controlled software development lifecycle. So the it was it was very stable software. I've been doing it for the last 10 years, developing various cloud infrastructure softwares in the high security, very large cloud environments. So it is distinctly different from the way the OpenStack is evolving. However, I do see a market difference, when I actually try to use Liberty release. This is a distro, a specific OpenStack distro. Heat is becoming more stabilized in Liberty, and Keystone, is being optimized, and so the chatteriness is being reduced. So apart from Liberty, I think the Mitaka may be a good release for really solid production deployments, and I think that's going to show up in the production distros in the next couple of months. So that's my talk, and I think this is a taboo topic nobody wants to talk about. It's a big white elephant that needs to be addressed. So I just thought I will take a few minutes in bringing these things out so we can openly talk about it and resolve it. Thank you, guys.